Hey everybody, this is going to be my very first video in my brand new section on miniatures here on YouTube. And I have written down a whole series of different questions, kind of prompts for miniature collectors that we can all share if you're interested, or you can, ignore the cats, you can comment below about kind of what you like and stuff like that. I'm also going to be sharing some of the stuff on my blog and some on Facebook as well, and I'll put my links down below on some of these things. But the very first video that I'm going to be doing is, what is Rement exactly? This is kind of an open section for all types of miniatures, kind of that I have come across. I'm always interested to learn about more, but the main thing that I have collected over the years is Rement. So I'm going to kind of go over briefly what Rement is. I believe that it was actually founded in 1998. It's a Japanese company. They've been around for quite a long time, and some of their older sets are much more detailed than they are now, but they're actually a company that makes very realistic and collectible miniature food items, household items, and a few keychains and things like that, kind of tchotchke stuff that's not as realistic. But their line is by far the most amazing and detailed miniatures I've ever come across, besides some of the handmade ones by people. But for a mass-produced company, Rement is by far above any other company I've ever come across. And I'm sure that I am missing a company, but in the way of what I've come across, Rement is way above. But yes, they create very realistic and wonderful miniatures based on mostly food and mostly Japanese food. They have done a few American sets. I think they've done a German set as well, and a few other countries, but mostly Japanese. They do a lot of sushi sets. They do a lot of Japanese household sets, stuff you'd see in a house in Japan. Things that we're not used to, or I'm not used to here in the US, but I've learned a lot actually about Japan through Rement because their stuff is so realistic. And when I actually went over there to visit, which was an amazing experience, I saw a lot of stuff that I had seen in the Rement miniatures in real life. So it was really cool to get to see the real things that Rement had reproduced in really tiny scale. Most Rement is 1/12 scale, I've realized. There are a few that are more 1/6. They can be used for Barbies. I believe they might be a little small. They can be used for most 1/6 dolls, though a little bit tiny. I use mine for my Lottie dolls, Lottie Yellows, and my Pookie Bees. So I would say 1/12 scale would be a safe bet. Most of their furniture is actually much tinier, like more like 1/18 scale. I actually have some right here. These are some examples of some of the newer Rement sets. Some of the old ones are far better. Their older sets have proven to be far superior than any of the newer sets that I've seen. I have a few. Most of them are really expensive and really hard to find. But some of the newer sets are pretty cute as well, and these are some of the examples of some of the Japanese items that you would find. I don't have many in here. This is just one box, and if you watched the introduction video, you know I have over 30 boxes of Rement at my house. But yes, those are some of the tinier. This is all from one set, and you can see they're roughly 1/12 scale. They also do a lot of realistic things based off of Japanese culture, and most all of the writing on them are in Japanese, as you can see, and I cannot read it, so I just go with it. This is kind of a cool item here. I got to come across these in Japan at a lot of the shrines or the temples there. You write on them. So yes, it was kind of cool to see these things in real life. and kind of learn more about the culture through these miniatures. But as you can see, the furniture is much smaller than the scale of the items, as this can show you. The furniture has to be small enough to fit into a tiny box, so it's usually very, 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 very small in comparison. Like, look at this. This is supposed to be one of those line pavers. And then, let's see, in comparison, here is a bucket. Oops. Hold up. Kittens. So you can see that the scale and proportions on some of these things just a little off. But yes, Rement are just really realistic miniature items from Japan, and I adore them. I have so many. So that is basically what Rement is, if you didn't know. I'm going to be doing a lot of other miniatures as well. I have 3 baby kittens in here playing on the floor, so yeah, they're making quite a squawk. But yes, I hope that was helpful for those of you who did not know about Rement or wanted to know a little more. I'm not very knowledgeable in the history of Rement, obviously, but that is what they basically are. Very realistic food items in miniature form. So yes. But that is going to be the first video. That's not all that helpful, I know, but I have a lot more to come. So stay tuned, guys. Bye!